Diego Pavia proved last season that he belongs. Now he's landed on a prestigious award watch list and can also now prove that he can stay in the upper echelon of quarterbacks, of elite quarterbacks.
You are Locked On Vandy, your daily podcast on the Vanderbilt Commodores, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, friends. Welcome into the Locked On Vandy podcast on the Locked On Podcast Network. I'm your host, Corey Burton. And guys, thanks for making Locked On Vandy your first listen each and every day. I appreciate you. Shout out to the everydayers. However you got here, thank you for getting here. Thank you for being here. And I appreciate you greatly. We're free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube as a part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. So this train inches closer to the start of camp, to the start of training camp, to the start of fall camp, however you want to pronounce it, however you want to say it. I got training camp on the brain because it's the NFL season has kicked off, and the Titans look like they found their guy with Cam Ward, by the way. And if you want to shout out to Locked On Titans, if you want to check that out, but there's a lot of storylines out there. There's a lot of things to be excited about with Vanderbilt football. And when you look on the defensive side of the ball, especially within the defensive front, there is a lot of things to get excited about, like the defensive line. How are they going to shake out? This is probably one of the most deep. This group has probably the most depth out of any defensive line that I remember Vanderbilt ever having. Same with the linebackers. I think there's a lot of talent there. There's a lot of production coming back there. And I think this defensive front is going to be pretty dangerous if I must make a prediction. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to break that down a little bit. But, Diego Pavia just continues to turn headlines, whether he's speaking out, giving other teams bulletin board material, which really it's just friendly trash talk. I don't mind that. And he's got a lot of confidence. He's got plenty of confidence to go around. Clark Lea's not stopping him. So, Clark Lea has to believe in what he's saying. So, but here's the thing about Diego Pavia. The more he talks, the more attention he gets, the bigger his star becomes. He gets on these watch lists. And yes, he didn't talk his way onto this watch list. He earned it. Like I said, he proved last year that he belongs on this list. All right. And him being on this list is evidence of that. But now what he gets to do is he gets to prove that he can stay. Diego Pavia is on the Maxwell Award Watchlist, like I said, and that's a really big honor. That means you're thought of extremely highly, right? You're well thought of at the quarterback position. They're evaluating. They're like, okay, these guys are on the watch list, right? And he proved last season that he belonged. And he did everything he could, passed for 2,200 yards, almost rushed for 1,000, was 200 yards short, I think, had he not gotten banged up. He would have been a 2,500-yard passer and a 1,000-yard rusher, scored a bunch of touchdowns, didn't give up the ball too much. He's an SEC graduate, and he is, like I said, he is the unequivocal leader of this team. He is the heart and soul of this team. I think Eli Stowers is kind of the quiet leader, and as I said about Brandon Fontenette, he's Rambo, so he's the silent killer of this team as well. So Diego Pavia is the one out there cutting all the promos, getting all the guys juiced up, fired up, gassed up, whatever you can say. But to me, Diego Pavia, this is a really, really special thing for him, right? It's great recognition, yes. And it proves that last year was phenomenal. Last year was a hit. Last year was, hey, Diego Pavia, if you're talking about great quarterbacks in the SEC coming into this season and you leave Diego Pavia off your list, you're pretty, that's pretty bold of you because, he's on the Maxwell Award watch list. He is something to consider as far as the upper echelon. Now, he's got to prove that he can stay. Now, the argument, and I still think this is a lazy argument, but the argument is this. Defenses have figured him out. I don't know what that means even. Like defenses figure, okay, great. Defenses have figured him out. Cool. They figured out he's a great runner. He's elusive. He's got something about him on third down. It's just some sort of Pavia factor magic. And it's just, there's something about him. And he is almost seemingly unstoppable on third down. So if he wants to improve his status, he proved it, like I said, I'm going to restate the standard here. He proved, I just started school. Can you tell? He proved that he belongs. We know he belongs. But like there's this very thin line, and this happens to a lot of quarterbacks, so this is not unique to Diego Pavia. But there's a very thin line of you have a successful season and you follow it up with a bit of a stinker or just even a mediocre year, right? And it proves a lot of the points that people are making about you. Now, I'm not saying this about Diego Pavia. I'm just saying this in general. Like there's a lot of quarterbacks out there that prove the doubters correct, that make that lazy point true, right? Diego Pavia, he's at a crossroads right now. And I think he could either prove that he belongs and he proved that he can stay in this list and continue to evolve and continue to produce in different ways, because teams like the argument's not wrong. I just think it's lazy. It's not wrong. Defenses have figured him out. That's not an incorrect statement. Never believed it was an incorrect statement. I just think it's a lazy argument because it just says that you don't think he's going to evolve at all. He is what he is, and that's it. He can't get any better. He's reached his ceiling, which is not true. He's still got a long way to go before his ceiling, because there's aspects of his game that are kind of behind, like his pocket passing, pocket awareness, downfield accuracy, all that stuff. If he improves on that, I think that's a great proving ground that, okay, well, maybe he is for real. And he could also be the same. He could also not improve any of that stuff. And he could have a similar type game, and teams will have figured him out. And and that whole point of, well, defense has figured him out, so he's not going to be effective. That lazy argument turns into a valid argument with that level of play. So Diego Pavia has a chance to go one of two ways. Every quarterback on this watch list can go one of those two ways, unless you've been like a proven guy. Like you got 2 years of great production under your belt coming into this season. Like I think that puts you at a little bit of different crossroads where 95% of your road goes towards you're going to have a great season, and maybe 5% of your road goes towards you're going to have a terrible season, and most of that is due to injury. So Diego Pavia is not quite at that crossroads yet, but he's at a crossroads, and I think he'll take the latter of what I was saying. He's going to improve. Wait, hold on. I can't remember which one I said first, to be honest with you. I think the one I said first. He's going to. What I'm saying is, the things he needs to improve on, I think he's going to improve. I think the team is built around him. The receivers are more talented. There's a couple of guys he has a good connection with. You have Eli Stowers coming back for year 2 in this system on this team. And you have a lot of factors that are going for you, not against you. You have 100% continuity in the coaching staff. You have a portion of the stadium now that's going to be complete, so the atmosphere is going to be even better. Because I think more Vanderbilt fans are starting to realize that, okay, this isn't just the same fluky Vanderbilt team. This team could be for real, and this is the year that they prove it. And Diego Pavia is the biggest driving force behind that. What's he going to do now that defenses have figured him out? That's the biggest question he's got to answer. What is he going to do now that defenses have figured him out? He's got to find ways to win from the pocket. He's got to still find ways to win with his feet. I think they're going to be more intentional on running him and putting him in better running situations, not just option situations, but power off of motions and boots and things like that to get him to the edge more intentionally, to where he can thrive where he's always thrived, and protecting him enough to where he can get the ball out on RPOs, get the ball out on quick aim, and occasionally push it vertically down the field. They still want to have a sense of ball control. I don't think they want to turn to the Josh Heupel, snap it every 10 seconds, be explosive type of offense. I don't think they ever want to become that. But I think they want to have more explosive plays within their offense. They obviously want to score more points. Their total offense has to be better. I think they have to get up in the upper half of offensive categories to win this year, because the element of surprise is gone. So they're going to have to improve all of those things. And for Diego Pavia to improve his portion of it, the offensive line's got to play better. The receivers have got to be more consistent and make catches that they weren't making last year, or the guys that were in there weren't making last year, because this is a new crop. And then, of course, just putting it all together and having a new element to the offense. And I think they can do all of that. But the factor of this remains. Diego Pavia is on the Maxwell watch list. That says a lot about what he is. And it says a lot about the potential that he has to become what he wants to be. And that's in the upper echelon of SEC quarterbacks. That is being able to get there and stay there on those lists. And at the end of the season, people going, man, we witnessed a phenomenal run of a quarterback in the SEC. And that's Diego Pavia. And that's the legacy he wants to leave. And I think that's something that he has a great possibility of doing. And honestly, the record may not reflect all of that, but he's going to have a hell of a run as a quarterback, and he's going to prove that he's a special guy at the end of the day. And this is a step recognition wise in that direction. That's it. This is a step in getting everybody's attention even further. If their attention wasn't already on Diego Pavia to begin with, he's on the Maxwell Award watchlist. So now it's watch out. Here comes Diego Pavia. If you didn't think he was elite now, he's on this watch list, and it's just that it's going to snowball. It's going to that freight train's coming, man. As Dan Campbell said on Hard Knocks, he quoted in a Metallica song, "No Leaf Clover." That light at the end of the tunnel is a freight train coming to hit you. And that's what Diego Pavia is, and that's what Diego Pavia is going to be for this team. So I'm really excited about that. And, I'm also really excited about, the pieces around him. And building in the trenches has been a very important thing for Clark Lea, not only to protect Diego Pavia, but a chance to get the ball back for this Vanderbilt offense so Diego Pavia can do his thing. How do we think this defensive line is going to fare? What do we think about that? How are they built? Clark Lea's excited about them. It was a point of emphasis for him in the offseason. So we're going to talk about this defensive line. We're going to do that, though, next. Hey, but first, it's talking about 5-hour energy transfusion. It's time to fuel up and turn up with a 5-hour energy transfusion. It brings the bold grape ginger and lime flavor of your favorite golf drink, minus the alcohol, into a quick, energizing shot. Whether you're sinking birdies or just making memories with friends, this one's a hole-in-one for your energy game. And for all you educators out there, like myself, you could use a jolt of energy at this point, because today was day one, and I felt like I ran a marathon, played a football game, and stayed up all night. So I could use one of these 5-hour energies. Let's be honest with that. So, talking about golf, though, what's the wildest shot that I've ever made? Man, this is, I don't know if you'd call it. Most of my golf shots are flukes. Let's just be honest with that. But I was on a par 5. I drove it pretty good. It was a dog leg. Drove it pretty good. I'm a lefty, so I hit a power draw, and I thought it went into the trees, and I was searching so hard into the trees, and I look and I see a ball in the middle of the fairway, and it's my ball. Apparently I had put it over the dog leg, set myself up with what would normally be a 3-wood to give myself a good chip to possibly get birdie. I leave myself with a 6-iron into the green, which for me is about 180 yards to the green on a par 5. I mean, I destroyed this golf ball. I don't usually destroy the golf ball like that. I'm not quite that good, but on this particular hole, this particular day, it was my day. Hit a shot within 6 feet, drained the putt, and made an eagle. So it wasn't really a shot; it was a sequence of shots. So it was great, man. It was kind of a miracle hole fluky type situation because I think I went on a double bogey the next 2 holes. So I think I used up all my good golf shots on that one. Anyway, I digress. Golf is all about good times with good people and good flavors, of course. The grape ginger lime flavor gives you the best parts of your clubhouse go-to without chasing down the bev cart girl. So if you go to 5hourenergy.com today, that is the number 5, hourenergy.com. You can use my promo code LOCKEDONGOLF to receive 20% off your order. The offer is only valid until September 30th on one order and cannot be used with other promotions. The code is not good on subscription orders. Whether you're meeting up with friends or trying to turn 18 holes into 36, get the energizing boost you need to power through. Order transfusion flavored 5-hour energy shots today. All right, thanks for making Locked On Vandy your first listen each and every day. We're free and available wherever you get your podcast and on YouTube as a part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every single day. If you need more action, training camp is getting right around the corner. Locked On SEC is the place to go. Also, for all you Locked On Vandy people, if you want to go the NFL route, Locked On Titans is a great choice, and Locked On Falcons if you're in the Atlanta area or if you're from Atlanta like me. Both of those shows on the NFL side are also very, very good. So if you want to go outside the college realm, that's where I would go personally. Anyway, but talking about defense, talking about the trenches, man, because one of the things coming out of last season that I noticed that Clark Lea needed to do big time, I mean, of course, improve the overall depth of the team. Obviously, like I think just across the board, they needed more depth because they just fell apart everywhere. By the Tennessee game, you deliver a good shot, but then, the game wears on and you could just see the team going, okay, we delivered our best shot and they need a 5-hour energy transfusion shot. That's what they needed. But nonetheless, happened against South Carolina, happened against LSU, happened against Tennessee. You give your best shot at the beginning of the game, you wilt away, and they just took advantage. And that was the turning point of, okay, Clark Lea said, all right, this ain't going to happen again. We're going to do everything we can to avoid this happening again. The November collapse, because we have no depth. People are banged up. It's a tough schedule, tough league. That's going to happen. It's football. It's SEC football. You're going to get banged up. Like, that's going to be a thing. But here's how you combat it. You put a lot of your eggs into the offensive defensive lines, and Clark Lea did that. Defensive line, he got a lot of multiple talented guys like Aaron Bryant, Mason Nelson, Keanu Coate to rush the passer. You get some really good guys out of the portal, and you build some depth. You're getting Linus Zunk back, which is going to be outstanding. And there's just a lot of things with this position that I'm really, really excited about. So here's what I'm thinking, man. It's a ton of production and talent coming back. A lot of these guys coming back off injury. They're going to be a little bit fresh. They don't have a lot of mileage on them as far as wear and tear. But Zaylen Wood coming back. Hopefully he's going to have a monster year. Yelin Otara, Linus Zunk coming back from injury. Glenn Seabrooks, Khordae Sydnor as well. Those are returning guys. And then, Miles Capers coming back as well as an edge guy, a defensive end. That's going to be kind of a pass rusher there. They added Keanu Coate as well, who's going to be, he was a guy that got lost in the shuffle at Alabama. Very talented guy, just kind of got on the wrong side of the depth chart, I think. And it's going to be a great opportunity for him. They added a ton of portal talent. They have quite a deep rotation, and Clark Lea knows that this was, like I said before, this was the key to that decline. And this is going to be very, very interesting to see kind of how they do. It's going to be a lot of fun watching this group because you're going to have, like I said, this is the most depth that he's had on the defensive line ever. And he's going to be able to rotate guys in, and this is going to be a force to be reckoned with. Like, you're going to have a fresh defensive line deep into these games, deep into November, barring any catastrophes, of course. But you have Jalen Stone, Mason Nelson, you have Singh, you have Aaron Bryant as well. I mean, you have a lot of guys coming back, and then you have some freshmen as well, and some other guys that could probably get in on the mix. But this is going to be, to me, also, it's going to be a chance for you to audition the position of for the defensive line for future portal guys. Like you're gonna see, like if I'm a guy thinking about the portal, or I'm a high school defensive lineman thinking about situations, I think with NIL, rev share, and all that, you have a chance to really kind of pick a place that's a good fit for you, because like anybody can win. Like in this league, anybody can win. And given the situation with NIL, like if you can pay and build a roster, everybody's well coached enough to be able to win in this league. And that's what makes it great. That's what makes a great opportunity, because you're going to get great film against great opponents week in and week out, coming to Vanderbilt. So if you have aspirations of playing in the NFL, just getting into the SEC alone, I think gives you a leg up as far as getting quality film, because if things break down evenly, they're going to take a guy that's more battle tested over a guy that's not. So you have an ACC guy and an SEC guy. They're the same skill wise, same size wise. They bring the same things to the table. Let's say you got like the 17th pick and you're looking for an interior defensive lineman. If they've got the same qualities across the board, intelligence and everything, you're going to pick the SEC guy. It's going to happen. Like that's kind of where we are. If they got the same stats, if they're similar in speed, build, hands, all that, they're going to pick the guy who's battle tested. And to get in the SEC, that's going to be the case. So I think this is also, you're going to see just how Clark Lea uses the defensive line, and that's going to be a really good attractor for future guys. You're going to see somebody get a chance in the league because they played in this defense, and you're going to get a chance to have guys fresh, to get their best production, and the mileage is going to be down on these guys, and that's a good thing, because you don't want a guy that's played every single snap. He's going to be worn out, and NFL teams aren't going to pick a guy that's been worn out. If you produce in a rotation, you're going to play. On defensive line, it doesn't matter if you start, unless you're somebody who takes great pride in being the first one that runs out. It doesn't really matter. If you produce, you're going to play and you're going to make plays. You're going to get in pictures on Getty Images and the social media posts. You're going to be on Sports Center. If you produce, you're going to be there. You're going to be on NFL scout radars. And this defensive line is deep, man. There's a lot of situational things that can happen too with different types of rotations. They can have a fast lineup, a big power lineup. They can have, odd front, even front. I mean, they can do a lot of multiple things. And that's what's scary about having this much talent on the defensive line. So, I'm going to get more and more into it as the season goes on, and as we kind of see it unfold in camp. But this is, like I said, this is a great position and something that we should really kind of keep an eye on, because I'm excited about the depth of this position. And I'm also excited about the depth of the linebacker position. So those two positions kind of go hand in hand. So, the group on, this group is going to be electric. So is the inside linebackers. We're going to talk about the linebackers. You got to stick around though. Locked On Vandy, thanks for making us part of your day. Shout out to you everydayers. Shout out to you guys who stuck around. Shout out to you guys who are loyal enough to stick around for the defense and the defensive breakdowns. We play defense at Vanderbilt too, so don't get it twisted, right? It's not all Pavia. I love Diego Pavia. It's not all Pavia. Play defense too. These guys deserve some shine. But I want to take a look at the inside linebacker crew, because I think a lot of attention is going to the defensive line, which it should. A lot of attention is going to the secondary, which it should. It's legit. Like Martel Height's going to be a two-way star. Dante Carter, Marlon Sewell battling for the free safety spot. CJ Hurd is going to be really good at strong safety, and you're going to have some other options there. Carson Lawrence, I think, is going to be a hell of a playmaker on in the secondary. I think eventually he might even overtake CJ Hurd. I don't know. It's going to be a special group. But a group that I don't know that's getting talked about. Maybe they're getting talked about in channels that I haven't seen, but they just haven't really been getting much shine. That's inside linebackers. It's kind of a thankless position, but here's kind of what I think about the defensive line. really the inside linebackers. They're going to drive the defense. Like the defensive line is going to anchor things. They're going to make things tough for teams to really move the ball forward, and they're going to make it a pain in the you-know-what. But this inside linebacker is going to drive this defense because they're going to dictate what these opposing offenses do. And they have the talent to do it. They have the returning production to do it, right? Linebackers have a lot of talented depth. Who's gonna emerge as a key rotational piece? You have Patterson, Longwell. They're the starters. Bryce Cowan's going to challenge that, though. He's going to be tough to keep off the field. He's big. He's athletic. He can move. He can tackle. He can make plays. He did so in limited action. You have Nick Rinaldi, who I think is a utility guy. Can play the star position, can play the inside linebacker position. Hell, if you want him to go to nose guard, he'd probably be willing to line up and go to nose guard. He's a special cat too. It's going to be hard to keep him off the field. So you have 4 guys right there, just alone, that I think are going to make a major impact on this season. And having this depth is going to allow them to stay fresh at a heavy contact position. And this is going to be a group, like I said, they're going to, when I say they drive the defense, when I say they're going to dictate things, they're going to be the ones that are making the plays, scraping on the edges. They're going to be the ones that's going to make running the ball tough. They're going to clog up passing lanes, whereas last year they were called on to blitz a lot out of necessity. I don't think they're going to have to do that as much this year. They're going to be able to play more with instincts. They're going to be more of a factor in pass coverage. They're really going to kind of dictate what teams are able to do and not do. And how tough a day you're going to have as an offense is going to be keyed in on these linebackers. If this defensive line can keep these linemen off of them, which I think they have a better shot at doing this year than they did a year ago, this is going to be a special group. This group is going to feast. And you have 2 monsters. And for Prince Collie, it's his time this year too as well. If he's going to shine, if he's going to do it, he's going to do it this year. Not sure if he will, but he will. He's got to. But Cowan, Longwell, I think if you can find ways to get them 2 on the field at the same time, those 2 guys are behemoths or monsters. Langston Patterson is he's just Mr. Consistent. He just gets it done. Like I said, he's got what I call game speed. I don't think you're going to see Langston Patterson line up and you go, wow. Like he's not going to go to the Indianapolis at the combine and line up and run the 40 and you go, whoa. Well, what was that time? You're going to look at him, but you're going to watch his film and go, what the hell did he teleport? Like he's got what I call game speed and he's just there. And it's tough to judge him because he's just there. He's just, you don't really, like you just blink and he's just there. It's like he knows the play. His instincts are out of this world. His football IQ is out of this world. His leadership qualities are out of this world. And I think it's gotten through to Longwell and Cowan because I think they play very similarly. Like this is a very instinctual group, and they're well coached. They have a great understanding of what their role is within this scheme, and I think allowing them to play linebacker instead of just kamikaze blitzer all the time is also, I think, going to it. And they may not have blitzed for as large of a percentage as I have in my head because I felt like every time I saw one of them was coming. They were rushing 5, and one of them was Patterson or Cowan or Longwell. But again, this is a very extremely instinctual group. I think Rinaldi has a lot of talent there as well. He's a name that you don't really anticipate him doing a whole lot. But he's a guy that you're going to hear his name called a lot. Oh, Nick Rinaldi made this player. Nick Rinaldi, he had a monster bowl game. I mean, it was a thing of beauty. I mean, he was. I think Haynes King is still having nightmares about him because he was just a thorn in his side. And then, of course, Brandon Fontenette playing the star position, which I wanted to focus more on the inside linebackers with this round. But like Brandon Fontenette's going to be he's Rambo. He's Rambo. Like honestly, like the way Rambo kills you, he just pops up out of the bush, knife in between the teeth, and just and you're just dead. That's how it was in the Rambo movies, and figuratively, that's how it's going to be for opposing offenses when they see number 2. He's going to just pop up, bam, tackle in the backfield, boom. He's going to pop up, boom, interception, or fumble. He's just there. He's just going to pop up, and you're like, what? And you can't eliminate him. Like that's how Rambo was. That's how Brandon Fontenot's going to be. You're not going to hear him, not going to see him, you're not going to hear from him. He's just going to theoretically, figuratively kill you and move on about his business. So this defensive front, I think, line included, is going to be as talented as Vanderbilt's ever had, and I think you should be excited about that. I think the future is very bright for this bunch. Year 2 of Clark Lea's scheme. Even though Steve Gregory's calling it, it is not Steve Gregory's defense. It is Clark Lea's defense that Steve Gregory is driving. And so it's going to be a special defense. Clark Lea is not going to be hands off. I think he learned his lesson there. He was hands off the last time he did it. He just said, it's yours. And it failed miserably. And I think he's going to have his hands more into it than we think. So I'm really excited about it. I think they're going to be doing a lot of creative things. I think you're going to see a lot of looks that have evolved from year 1, and similar with offense. But I mean, Diego Pavia, they just want to, their goal is to get off the field, get out of Diego Pavia's way so he can go win the Maxwell, go win the Heisman, go win whatever awards you want him to win. The defense has got to get out of his way for him to be able to do that. So I think that, like I said, that's how they all relate, right? The defense just gives him opportunities, just gets the hell out of the way as quickly as they can so that he can have those opportunities. So with that being said, that's all I got. Got Kurt Page coming on later this week, barring any disasters or barring anything happening, timing-wise or scheduling-wise. He's joining me from Warsaw, Poland. He's coaching in the European League of Football. He's an elf coach, so he's going to join me later on this week. And, of course, I think we've got a crossover lined up with Zach Blackerby at Locked on Auburn, so we're going to talk about that matchup as well. And got a lot of exciting things coming down the pike on the heels of training camp. So get excited, get ready. Here we go. And this is the Locked on Vandy podcast on the Locked on Podcast Network. Football season is here. I love it. So should you. Get excited. Like, subscribe, tell a friend, bring a friend next time, and we'll see you back here next time. Peace.